A major decision has just come down. It concerns President Trump's global tariffs. A federal court has blocked these tariffs. This news is sending shockwaves. It is a significant legal challenge. The administration's trade policy is hit. Many are asking what this means. The implications could be far-reaching. This ruling was unexpected by some. It raises questions about presidential authority. The tariffs have been controversial. They impacted many industries globally. Businesses have voiced strong concerns. Consumers also felt the effects. Now, the legal system has intervened. This is a developing story tonight. The court's action is immediate. It stops the collection of these duties. This could bring swift changes for importers and exporters alike. The White House has yet to fully respond, but a strong reaction is anticipated. This sets up a potential showdown between the executive and judicial branches. We are covering this from all angles. What does this mean for you? How will it affect the economy? And what happens next in court? These are the critical questions now. Experts are weighing in already. The situation is certainly fluid. Stay with us for the latest updates. The ruling came from the United States Court of International Trade, which specializes in trade law and has unique powers. Its decisions can impact global commerce. The judges reviewed the tariffs and the laws used. The administration cited national security, a key part of its argument. The court found the process flawed and that proper procedures were not followed. It said the scope of the tariffs was too broad and exceeded the limits of Section 232. The court stated this was crucial, detailing their reasoning in the opinion. This court ensures trade laws are applied fairly and acts as a check on executive power. The ruling emphasizes statutory interpretation, stating the president cannot act without limits set by Congress. The core of the ruling, the administration overstepped its authority and did not provide enough evidence for such sweeping tariff measures. This challenges the tariffs, limiting how the law can be used. The decision was made by a 3-judge panel. These judges are from the Court of International Trade, and they are experts in this complex field. Their backgrounds are diverse. Some were appointed by Democrats, while others were appointed by Republicans. This makes their agreement more notable. It underscores the legal basis of the ruling. The panel's decision was unanimous. This is a very significant point. It shows a strong consensus among them. The judges agreed on the legal reasoning. They found the tariffs were improperly imposed. This bipartisan agreement adds weight. It makes the ruling harder to dismiss. It suggests a solid legal foundation. Who are these judges? They are typically not household names, but their work is highly impactful. Judge Claire Kelly presided, for example. She was appointed by President Obama. Judge Mark Barnett was also on the panel. He was an appointee of President Trump. Their unity is a key takeaway here. This bipartisan nature is crucial. It counters claims of political bias. The judges focused on the law, not on political preferences. Their ruling is based on statutes and on established legal principles. This strengthens the decision's credibility. It highlights the judiciary's independence. The court's decision sent ripples through markets. Wall Street reacted almost immediately. Stock futures saw some volatility, and sectors reliant on imports showed gains. Companies facing tariff costs felt relief, Investors are watching for stability because the uncertainty of tariffs has been hard. This ruling offers a potential shift. For businesses, this is major news. Many United States companies paid these tariffs, which increased their cost of goods. Some absorbed these costs, while others passed them to consumers. Small businesses were hit especially hard, since they often have tighter margins. The ruling could ease this pressure. What does this mean for prices? Well, if tariffs are lifted, prices could fall. This applies to many imported goods, from steel and aluminum products to electronics and household items. Consumers might see lower costs, but honestly, this will not happen overnight. Supply chains need time to adjust. Economists are analyzing the impact. Many argued tariffs hurt the economy. They cited reduced trade and higher costs. This ruling could reverse some effects. It might boost certain industries, but it could also affect domestic producers, those who benefited from less competition. The overall economic picture is complex. The court's decision impacts specific tariffs. These were primarily global steel and aluminum tariffs, imposed under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act. The claim was national security. These tariffs affected many countries, including allies like Canada and Mexico, and European Union member states. The scope was exceptionally broad. Many types of goods were targeted, primarily raw steel and aluminum, but also some finished products. This affected construction materials, Automobile parts were also impacted, and even some consumer goods felt it. The tariffs were 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum imports. The ruling specifically blocks these Section 232 tariffs. It focuses on those deemed overly broad or those lacking sufficient justification. The court did not invalidate all tariffs, only those challenged in this case and found to be improperly implemented. This distinction is very important. It is not a blanket ban on all tariffs. Other tariffs remain in place. For example, some tariffs on Chinese goods, those were imposed under different laws like Section 301 of the Trade Act. This ruling does not directly touch them, but it might influence future challenges. It sets a precedent for judicial review of executive actions on trade matters. The White House reaction was swift and it was predictably strong. President Trump has often criticized judges, especially those ruling against his policies. Aides are likely preparing a response, and they may call the decision an overreach. The term judicial activism might be used. This is common in such situations. Some supporters of the president are angry, and they are using harsh language online. The phrase judicial coup has appeared. This suggests judges are usurping power, and it implies an illegitimate action. This is a very serious accusation. It questions the court's role and the legitimacy of its decision. However, legal experts disagree strongly. They say this is not a judicial coup. The court is doing its job. It is interpreting the law, and this is a fundamental part of our system. Checks and balances are essential. The judiciary reviews government actions, and this ensures they follow the law. These experts emphasize the court's reasoning. The decision was based on legal statutes, not on political disagreement with policy. The Court of International Trade is specialized. It understands trade law deeply. Its judges are tasked with this review. Calling it a coup is misleading, and it undermines respect for the judiciary. What happens next? The administration is expected to appeal the Court of International Trade ruling. The next step is the United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. This process will take months. The tariffs remain blocked during this time. Ultimately, this case could reach the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court would have the final say. This would be a major trade law case, and it could define presidential powers regarding tariffs and national security for many years to come. This ruling has broad implications for United States trade negotiations. It could also impact future administrations. In summary, a federal court has paused major tariffs, finding an overreach of power. The White House is likely to fight this, and the future of trade policy is at stake.